Hey, hey, hey! Welcome to I Have Something to Say. It's a magical Monday because Jerry Wald's in the house. Before I bring Jerry on, I want to say something about my friend. He's the most humble person, and he has a great way about him. You can tell it when he talks. He's intentional. He has a great spirit about him. And I am so excited to welcome Jerry to the show. Now, this is a good looking guy. You ready? Boom, Jerry Wall.
Hey, good morning, Paul.
What's going on?
Oh, just thought I'd join the show. How are you? I'm doing great. Thank you.
Well, I'm doing really good. Every day when I wake up, I just want to learn something new.
Yeah.
People don't understand that you can learn something new. I'm working with a young lady that had her stroke many years ago.
Right.
And we worked over the weekend, and she learned something new this weekend. And I am so glad she learned my entire 9 square grid.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's just amazing. So we're going to really, hey, Jenny Baker. She named my book, The Stroke Didn't Get the Memo. She named it.
Oh, is that right? Wow.
Yes, she's been a staunch supporter of me since my mom died.
Wow. Wow. Wonderful. Thank you, Jenny.
Over this role of kicking me in the butt, sending me encouragement. So, for people that don't know, tell me a bit about your story.
Yeah. Well, for me, first, my name is Jerry Wald, and I had my stroke 9.5 years ago, a hemorrhagic stroke. I had my stroke then. Living in here in Texas, I actually moved from the Bay Area, California, from Saratoga, and from there, got a new job 9 years ago in Texas, here, Austin, Texas, where I'm residing now. Yes, Austin's in the house. And so, yeah, from now, I'm still, I'm not in a wheelchair, but I broke my hip, but I had my stroke October 19th, 2010.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm 9.5 years post-stroke. Love life to its fullest. I've been in banking prior to me having my stroke, and
I
loved
grew up in a banking family.
Yes, I did. And I'm still watching my son going in my footsteps.
Wow.
4 kids, 10 grandchildren. I just love life. There's so much, like you said, Paul, to learn every single day.
You know what? I think Sharon Burke said, "Happy Monday, cousin Jerry."
Thank you, Sharon. Love you. That's my cousin. Gotta love Sharon.
Hey, good morning, Michelle. I love Michelle.
Yes, me too.
I love her. Hey, Mike, how you doing, buddy?
Yes, you know Mike, obviously.
I do. We're going to focus on caregivers today because I don't know where I would end up without my family and the people that took care of me. Tell me a little bit about the caretakers in your life.
Look at there it is. My caretakers, my caregivers for me. Those are my 2 daughters and my wife, and how instrumental they were with me. I don't think I could have made it so positive without them. What they've done for me, I didn't know behind the scenes when they left out of my room where I was staying for about 2.5 months. I just thought they were so positive, what they did for me. But I learned not too long ago, when they left the room, they broke down. They thought, this is it. This is how he's going to be for the rest of his life. So it's terrible what I learned afterwards.
You know what? My kids did too.
Yeah.
As they would stay strong for me, and they
Yes.
would go outside. All the doctors, all they painted was bad news is
Yeah.
coming. Bad
Right.
news is coming. Look
Yeah.
out ahead.
Yeah.
And,
I agree.
and
Yeah.
my kids walked outside and they said, "Man, what we're what are we going to do?"
Yeah.
So it's takes special care to be
Yes.
a caregiver. Um, you know, so much compassion. I made this little homily about caregivers.
Yes.
Talk about the compassion that you were shown.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, again, those are my two daughters and my wife, but how strong they were and what I had to do to keep them. Well, they kept me positive the whole time. I was going through a tough time. I didn't realize how much of a tough time I was going through. What really stuck with me is I was told I plateaued,
Mhm.
which, but my wife said I didn't. And my daughters were taking me to therapy 3 days a week. And I went through that, and they kept pushing me in a positive way. And so I don't know, like you said, Paul, where we would be without special caretakers in our life. I don't know, I hate to say it, I wonder if I would have been in a nursing home or a rehab facility living there, but
You know, one of my favorite caregivers is Carla. That's on the screen right now. She
right,
has
right.
a daughter named Kayla.
Oh,
Kayla has been through, don't start me to lying, I think 37 surgeries.
wow, really?
Yes. And Carla and Kayla are really good friends of mine. And the things that lady has gone through for her daughter, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
And so when I talk to her every day, she gives me so much encouragement because she's so strong. But she had she would be strong for her daughter, but can you imagine having to say goodbye 37 times? That
Oh,
was that serious. And
yeah.
she's just a strong, strong person. Hey,
You-
love you, Carla. I'm going to have her on my show sometime soon.
important. It's like you said, Paul, caregivers, you realize how strong they have to be to take care of someone anybody like with TBI or a stroke,
Yeah.
because we're lost. We're lost. And are we feeling isolated? But they have to encourage us and really push us forward. Oh, there's one of my sons,
Yeah.
another grandchild, and my daughter-in-law. The one in the middle is my son Brendan, living in California. Tom, but
Hey, Tom.
yeah, thanks for being here. But my son was in the military when I had my stroke. He was in Okinawa, Japan. And so he got a leave, which I guess in the Marines, you can't really get much of a leave no matter what. And but he got to stay with me for about 2 months while I was in the hospital. Couldn't talk. I couldn't say I love you. I couldn't say anything. I couldn't even wrap my arms around him, or any of my, they can just wrap their arms around with me. And as you know, one side is affected, and my right side. I mean, just what we go through, and the caregivers especially. So thank you all that do what you do.
I don't have the words to adequately thank my family or my mom. My mom was an interesting person. She practiced caregiving from a distance. She called me 4 times a day. You can learn. You can speak. You can write.
Right on.
Get me a video. This guy, Tom Broussard, is talking. So you have to talk.
Right.
Exactly. But anyway, the
True.
advocacy caregivers give. I want to talk about that. My son Chris was my advocate. He
Yeah.
went and fought many battles with the hospital
Yeah. Yeah.
about a lot of things.
Very
Tina
true.
and Wendy were an advocate. My CEO and CFO, they took great care of me. So we need advocacy when we can't talk. I couldn't talk.
Yeah, I knew that. And you're right. I mean, my family is very outgoing and they will tell you, even if it is a doctor, but we rely on the medical community to tell us, well, you plateaued, you've done this, and you're not going to get any better. And so my family, they don't take that lightly. So they made sure that I'm going to succeed in what I'm going through. And
Exactly.
they did. Yeah, we need that. Because like you said, Paul, we can't talk. We can't. I just relied on the doctors because I didn't know any better. I didn't know what a stroke was.
You know, what was funny, I didn't either. And I didn't know what aphasia was. I couldn't imagine you go to sleep, get up, walk around 6:30 in the morning, sit down and have your stroke, and 15 minutes later you can't talk or read or write.
I know. It just absolutely incredible that what we go through. I'm still shocked every day. And so I thank the Lord what I went through.
Yeah.
I feel so much better because I want to advocate for those that can't do that. You know, the stroke survivor out there that have no family. I want to help them. Yeah, I know you too. We want to help those and the caregivers that are in the lives of them. It's just makes me want to do more for them.
I don't believe caregivers get enough attention. We're going to talk about that.
Yes.
Yes, my mom was amazing.
Yeah.
More than you know. And so respect is another thing that caregivers give to me and so many others. They make me feel valued. I'm sure your family did too. You
Yes.
matter to them, and you can tell it.
Well, yeah, and I couldn't. You're right. As far as respect, they never treated me any different from the day I had my stroke. They never get all freaked out at me. But afterwards, I found out what they were going through, and so as for respect, I give them so much respect. I can't even give them enough respect what they go through, and they gave me the respect, and they didn't tell me any different. Do I feel guilty? Afterwards, I'm thinking, wow, I put them through a lot.
You know, Naomi Smith said, that is what bothers me about right now. No one can be there to be your advocate.
Right on, right on.
You know, so we have to find some way to connect worldwide.
Yes.
Tom and I talked about that last week.
Right. I watched.
We've got to get on the ball and make our voices heard.
Right.
Because caregivers need education. They need support. Where they go to when they're down? Where do they go to when they're upset? Where do they go to when they need to talk? And a lot of people lose their way because they're taking so much care of everybody else. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And what you just said, as far as where do they go? Well, in the beginning, I know where my wife and my kids, they went to go get the car because I was on the 4th floor of the hospital. They went in the elevator and cried. They were so they have to keep themselves healthy. I mean, for what my family went through, I didn't realize till years later that we talked in all the different stories, and I'm just shocked. I just thought they were just so strong they could do this, but they were strong. They never showed me any different.
You know, Jerry, when I was in the hospital, I admit I was so angry because all I had done all my life was be a speaker
Yeah.
and a writer, and I loved teaching. And I was so angry that I couldn't say a word.
Right.
And thank God my kids stuck through that with me because I I apologized later when I
Yeah.
could talk
Yeah.
because I needed to apologize. But I am really proud of you and your family, and we get so many comments. Let me
Yeah.
thank you, Jerry. You're an amazing, inspirational friend, and caregivers love Tom and Laura, my wife. So good. Um,
Thank you so much, Tom.
yeah. So, well, I'm a big Jerry fan.
And I'm a biggest Paul fan. I can't even imagine. I get emotional thinking about it, Paul.
Well, I am really glad we connected. I have made so many wonderful friends since
Right.
I had my stroke.
Right.
And I believe God has special plans for me and you.
Yes.
And we're going to live this plan. Caregivers can benefit from self care, like in a plane, putting the oxygen mask on first in order to help a child.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree with that. It's a great analogy, by the way.
Very good, Sharon. Very good. Thank you. And
Everything and everyone is connected.
yeah.
So, what about empathy? Um, the, my family showed so much empathy for me, not sympathy, but
Right. Right.
empathy. They understood what I was going through. It
Yeah.
was nice to get that feeling of love, you
Yeah.
know?
It's the same with me. I totally agree. It's so important. Right, exactly. They don't give us sympathy. I mean, they stood up with us, and they really, um, uh, God, there's so much. I mean, advocacy, all these little, like I don't know, the subject that you're talking about. It's so important. The empathy for us. I love my family. What they have done for me. So I can't give them enough.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's never been enough words to
Yes.
say thank you enough because they've been so good. And my family, I would be nothing without my family. Hey, how you
Yeah.
doing? Um, I love Salute.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Salute and I met, Tom and I, in California. The four of us went out to breakfast, lunch,
Yeah.
and dinner. Yeah, it was awesome. It was
How
great.
did that happen?
Well, we don't do anymore because of this virus situation. But we take the month off of July. We spend it down in Southern California, and so Salute lives in California, and Tom. So we decided to meet at the where we were staying. So they spent the night. We went out to breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it was just awesome. It was great meeting Salute and Tom. Salute's she's a tough one there. I'll tell you.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, she is, and she is the advocate of Tom. She doesn't hold any punches. So
I know it. You know
yeah,
what? Caregivers, the word giving comes to mind. They give and they give and they give till they can't give no more or
right.
anymore. They just take it upon themselves. And I want to address Jenny Baker's
Yeah.
has a comment. Where do you go when you lose yourself in someone else?
Hmm.
And so we're going to talk about that in self-care section. But the giving. they have so much that they have to do. They have to learn to take care of the medicine. They have to learn to communicate for me. They have to learn to um, be cognizant of the fact that I can't talk, learn not to interrupt, practice good methods of speech. So have so much to learn.
Yeah, and they do. And another thing too is in my household, I was responsible for all the financial decisions, all paying the bills, and I had it all set up. But then when I had the stroke, I couldn't talk as you. My wife didn't know where anything was, and that was a mistake prior to my stroke. I should have been aware of all that. So that's what that gets me. So now we are going through things that she needs to know, I need to know, because we just was just shooting the breeze, and then I would do it all and she would do the booking the trips and that type of stuff or wherever we're going. But now we've changed how to do that.
A good point to take. If I look back, I made so many mistakes out of lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
You need, if man or woman, you need to sit down as a family and talk about this, because you never know. You never know when it's going to hit you.
You don't.
And I was unable to talk, and I wanted to communicate.
Right.
I couldn't, when I was saying yes, I was saying no. It was reversed. So funny story, I sold a building that I didn't intend to sell.
That worked out not the right way.
So I kept apologizing for being a burden and having a stroke. I know, Mike. I know.
Yeah, we all do. It is.
It was hard for me. I was apologizing to my family, don't want to be a burden, but thank God for my family. Thank God for propping me up and kicking me in the butt.
Yeah.
And, so I understand. I really do. And, caregivers are amazing, inspiring people.
Very true. I mean, I look at what my family has done, the inspiration. I mean, that's my daughter and her son, my oldest grandchild. And for them to move all the way out here and my family to stick together for what I went through. I mean, they could easily, some of the stories I've heard, I'm sure you have heard, well, I know you have, Paul. We talked about it. So many family members or families in general have left us when we had our stroke or whatever their situation was, which, I mean, I can't thank them enough. They're just so inspiring to me. I get so choked up thinking what they went through. I mean, it's at a point now for me, now I'm able to pretty much take care of myself. But
dude, thank you.
Yeah. And I tell,
Lord,
and I still tell my wife, I said, oh, my pills, can you get this? She goes, you have two legs. I mean, so I walk like a penguin, but
get my coffee. You get it yourself.
Yeah. You know where the Keurig is or whatever that you have. And so, but I was so used to not doing anything. And so it's changed. Like I said, I walk like a penguin. I may have not really great use of one hand, but I can do things. And so I have to learn to not rely on everybody again.
Exactly. The only thing they didn't want me to do when I had my stroke, I tried to grab the wheel that I was sitting in the front seat. Go this way. And I was pointing the other way. So I grabbed the wheel. They wouldn't ride with me unless I was in the back seat.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I know. Backseat driver. Yeah.
We have so much to be thankful for, a lot. When I didn't have a voice.
Right.
my kids were my voice.
Yes, exactly.
They stood up and communicated for me.
Right, right.
And they, thank God, we need a voice,
Yes.
advocacy, respect, inspiring, giving, empathy, all these things we're talking about. But they gave me voice when
Yes.
I didn't have a voice.
Right. I know. I know. And they gave us the right voice.
Look at Tom. Walk like you John.
And that's really, I mean, it's funny. We're in San Diego, and my two of my grandchildren are walking in front of me, and they're both swinging their leg out, and just like I walk, instead of my gait's a little off, but and it's so funny. And you know what? It's not a big deal. That's how they know me, because I had the stroke prior to them being born, but it's okay. I don't get offended by anything. It's just this life, and this is the cards I've been dealt, but it's a pretty darn good deck of cards now. So
I believe God stroked me to do something great.
yes, same here.
I believe that, and you have to really be thankful.
Yes,
Because I am so grateful for a second chance.
yes,
Just
right.
like
Yes.
86,400 seconds a day. Just
Yes.
live. Live it out loud. No apology. Smile. Be happy. Be optimistic.
Yes,
You know?
exactly. Thankful what we have.
Yes.
It came out wrong, but I'm
That's
sure
okay.
everybody understood.
Thankful what we have. That's
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and I tell you, Sharon, she was on my show a long time ago, and I miss her. And looking at my kids right on the screen too, they're close, and I still miss them. I could probably walk out here and see my kids. Not even.
Salute says something important. Tom depends on me for most things. When he falls, I'm going to cry. I had his back.
Yeah.
Salute. I'm proud of you. Proud of you for everything you're doing. So good.
Yeah, she is unbelievable. Yeah.
And who's this?
Um,
No, who's that?
Oh, okay. Those are my two boys and Barbara, my wife. She's in the middle, obviously, and my older boy. Now I don't know if the older one's a tiny bit taller. He lives in San Diego with his wife and child. And Dylan, actually, he and his wife and his child just moved in with us just because they're selling their house and building another house.
Good.
Yeah, and so. And I love him. Oh, and that's Dylan with me just obviously about 3-4 years after my stroke, just pushing me, not criticizing me. I mean, that's the thing. Our families, there's no, they're just pushing me all the time and in a good way. And if I get tired and complain, they're with me. They're not complaining, saying, negative things to me. And that's what I love about my family.
Exactly. What I love about caregivers in general, I work on that word, caregivers. See, I can do it, but effective. They have to be effective in so many things.
Right.
And they didn't sign up for that, but they did it anyway.
Right, right.
And so what my concern is, they're responsible for so much, and they have to take that responsibility seriously. But when I go back and I think about it, I believe that all my kids didn't take enough time for them. They took too much time for me. But that's what families do.
Yeah.
Good family.
Yeah, responsibility. Well,
And
I like the analogy. They didn't sign up for, but well, I mean, you not like my wife through thick and thin. I mean, but did she ever think, and even my family think, that I'm going to go through this? No, not at all. It's just, but they stuck by me, and still to this day. Now Barbara is a little more tougher on me. You know what the pills are. Yeah. And she was going to be on, but she works out of the house. So I apologize. And I wish she could have been on, but it may have gotten me in trouble if she would have been on to talk about me. But,
we were going to have her home. I think I'm going to have her on by myself so she can talk about you.
oh gosh. I'll be making comments in the chat.
We're going to block you.
Yeah, exactly. No, she really. Yeah.
I'm going to read this.
Okay.
Carla said, Kayla, I can do it all the time. How could I not be strong for her when when her life was forever altered at 24 by the carelessness of another. She deserves nothing less than every ounce of support myself and her sisters and the rest of the family can give her. We are in full speed ahead of family.
Yeah.
Kayla is my hero.
Obviously, you look at this; she's good,
and she is so good, and she is so strong. Her mantra is fierce, don't quit, and strong. And she is an amazing girl, and I really love her. And we were at speech therapy together, and she was really inspirational to me. When I looked at her life, I said, man, if she can go through all this, having her brain carved open multiple times, what do I have to gripe about? Nothing.
Nothing. That's very
nothing.
True. Right. Exactly. I'm with you.
Is show up and do something about it with aphasia and provide a little bit of inspiration. I try my best to do this.
And I'm sure you do.
And strong. That's the caregivers is people that are caregivers are ultimately strong. And my mom was to my dad for 8 years. She sacrificed so much.
Yeah.
So much. She was the ultimate caregiver.
Yeah. It's amazing how strong they are, because my wife had the same thing, as being strong for us. And she has to be strong her whole life for all her kids and grandkids. I mean, it's tiring thinking about what she goes through. And then I had the stroke. Yeah. Holy smokes. Now what she has to do. It blows my mind, but she's still strong. I mean, it just, I can't thank her enough either. I mean.
So let's move on.
Okay.
About self-care and caregivers. So I did some research and I asked, a good friend of mine that has a lot of experience in this. How do you find the balance? So when I thought about that, do not lose yourself to guilt and stress.
Right.
You're not responsible as a caregiver for what happened to me.
That's true. Right.
You shouldn't feel guilty, but I believe that plays a major role. And they care so much.
Yes.
they guilt themselves into being stressed.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And do you feel guilty about it for what we put them through?
I do.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
how
No,
about you?
yeah, I do. I wish I could change that. But as far as the stress and the guilt, I did some research on that as well. And the guilt they play, it's bottled up in there. And
Exactly.
we don't. So what we really need to do is talk to them, and can you please tell me how you feel? And we've been doing a lot of talking about that, and it bothers her. So she said, what I decided to do was when you had the stroke, probably about a year after, I'm not going to let that get the stress to me because I've been stressed out anyway. It's amazing. She says it's amazing she didn't have a stroke because of this. And so she decided, I mean, if you look at the picture, she looks really good, but she lost a ton of weight, like 100 pounds. She works out. I mean, she weights and everything, running every single day because she takes care of herself. She makes me, the stuff I eat every day is so different than that I used to eat. I'm so well taken care of. My green shakes, the stuff that I eat. I mean, I should be 300 pounds if I don't eat like that. She's
I
amazing.
need I need to address this. Hey, Mike, we all had those times.
Yeah.
And I want to say unequivocally, you're enough.
Yes.
No, you're enough. I thought about it too, Mike, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I was in a month long. I was feeling guilty about
Yeah.
everything that I had brought onto my family's life. I couldn't talk. I couldn't read. I couldn't write. I wasn't having a pity party. I was caught in an isolating, burdensome,
Yeah.
overwhelming, depressive, sad state.
Yeah.
And when you get in a sad state, all of a sudden your mind plays games with you. And I just want to say to you, you're enough, Mike. You're enough. And um, just you're enough. So I just want to say that to you. And um, hugs to you. And Christy said hugs to you. I'm going to put it on. If I can. Mike Peter hugs.
Yeah.
One of the things you must do as a caregiver is set aside time for you.
Yeah.
Oh, my son said hi.
I saw that.
Chris, how you doing, buddy? How you doing? That's my son, Chris.
Yeah. Oh, don't you love when they show up?
I do.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I can't apologize to him enough. I was really hard on Chris when I couldn't say a word. I just threw pins at him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did.
I remember your story about that.
So bad. But anyway, you have to set aside time for you and do the things you enjoy. And for God's sakes, breathe, take a break.
Right.
As
Right.
a caregiver, and you just need to take a break and breathe and have some fun and go outside and get away from it all. If you don't take any time for you, Jenny's question, you lose yourself in the other person's.
Yeah.
That comes all about them.
Yeah.
And we don't want you to lose yourself. We care about you a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Tremendously. I mean, whether it's meditating or what, I mean, something, you have to have that time for yourself. And I know in my household, some people, when there's issues with someone in the family or whatever, they all call Barbara. So they put all that on. So not only do they do that, I'm a burden. But I just want to go back, if you don't mind. to Mike Peters, because in the beginning, I thought the same thing. I'm more of a burden, and probably I need to go so they can have a great life. But I just want to say, Mike, we all go through that, and I think all people. But you know what? You are, like Paul said, you are enough, and love yourself. I mean, seriously, this is so many people have their stress, but let's just take a deep breath, and where Paul put that on, breathe.
Yes, and and take time to do things you enjoy. And look, as a caregiver, you need to take care of yourself.
Right.
What
Exactly.
we do without you? You need to breathe, eat healthy,
Right.
hydrate, exercise, rest. We don't want you to get sick. We
No.
don't want you to be depressed.
No,
And
not at all. Not
it's
at all.
so important that you take the time to take care of you.
Right, right. And do you see Mike's comment, the last one there? And I love it because you know what? It helps me out. It helps me out too. Right there.
I don't know what I would do without you guys. So thank you, everyone. Hey, Mike, we love you, buddy.
Right. Does that help
We
me
love you.
too? It helps me when I see all this too.
Me too.
Right?
And it's a funny thing, hug a tree.
Yeah.
If you don't have anybody else, hug a tree.
Oh,
If
Sharon.
you find anybody else, hug me.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Give yourself a pat on the back, and all of a sudden you're hugging yourself.
Yeah, that's right. And wear a mask. Wear your mask.
Oh, another subject for another day.
Yes.
Paul, think before you act, please. Every one of you are so important. Stroke survivor or caregiver, please call me, text me. I will listen anytime, night or day. Reach out to someone. You are worth it. From caller. Man.
It's true. It's true. I'm here too. And I always tell people, send me a private message. I'm here for you too. We all are here for each other.
And we are, it's so important because we have something to do. We have something to do that's very important. And we can shine a bright light for others to see.
Yes.
And we can be a beacon
yes.
of hope. And it's rather important to be hope-filled,
right,
rather than it is to be hopeless.
Yes.
That's what the doctors gave me, was a hopeless outlook.
Yeah.
My mom gave me a hope-filled outlook.
Yes, I'm with you, Paul. Exactly.
We can't touch anyone here in New York, so there's trees.
Same here. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Way to go.
Well, they need to pay attention in Florida. They're not wearing masks at all. It's so bad.
I know.
I'm telling you, it's so bad in Florida, where I live.
You had an issue recently, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Just so bad. So one of the things I want to get up on. Oh.
I see Bill Connors. Nice to see you, my friend.
Hey, funny. Bill. Thank you.
Yes.
You know what? One of the things, we have some questions submitted from the audience in advance. Yep. And I want to just let's talk. So Anna said the following. She said, do you do it for them, or do you let them struggle and succeed? So I had a long conversation with Anna about this issue. When I first had my stroke, I believe my kids talked for me because they didn't want to see me be embarrassed. They didn't want to see me. We went to a restaurant in Destin,
Right.
and the waiter was rolling their eyes at me like, "Can you talk?"
Yeah.
And it hurt,
Yeah.
but they let me struggle. And then I was able to find success. So, Anna, I would just tell you be standing by. But Tony, your husband, will find success through the struggle he encounters. Just he needs to be social. He needs to get out. He
Yes.
needs to have a life, regain his independence. If you do it all for him, he's going to be codependent
Yes.
instead of interdependent.
Right. Right.
And that's a big word for a guy that had a stroke.
I know. I don't. I can't even say that. I'm sure. But it's true. I interviewed a lady, a professor at Stanford, who had a stroke with her husband, and they were perfect. She struggled to get through the words, but her husband let her because he was told through a speech pathologist that you have to let them struggle to get through it. Otherwise, they're not going to learn. You have to talk. And I'm sure I'm talking right now, and Tom Broussard and Bill Connors are there. So, oh my gosh, I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's what it was. They kept saying to let them talk and struggle through it.
Somebody's talking. I don't know. For me, when I was at my worst,
Right?
I found the best of myself.
Really? Explain that.
When you have adversity come your way,
Yes.
you either shrink up from it or challenge yourself to get better.
Right.
Adverse times lead to finding the best about yourself. And I had to make a decision. Was I going to do the work? Was I going to practice?
Right.
Or was I going to shrink?
Right. Ball
There's
up.
two things in life. You either shrink or soar. Shrink or soar. Make a choice.
Yeah.
And so I have another thing from my audience. Sky asked, Paul, when you had trouble talking in the early stages, like my dad Terry, it was maybe coming out as gibberish. Did you know what you were saying, but it was coming out different? So to you, it sounded normal, but to others, it didn't. Absolutely.
It's still
Me, I was talking fine.
yeah. Can I just answer really quickly?
Yeah, go ahead.
Still to this day,
Me too.
when I talk to Barb or anybody of my kids, I'm talking and then they tell me they understand nothing what I said because it didn't make sense. It doesn't happen often, but it does. It comes out gibberish and they just are trying to understand me. It's just funny how what happens when you have aphasia, and I think it's called expressive aphasia for me, where it's just, I just lose my words or I forget.
I do too.
Tom, exactly, right?
Exactly. Therapeutic.
Yeah.
Big word, Tom. Big word. Therapeutic.
Therapeutic. Yeah, that's a good one. He even spelled it. I don't even know if it's spelled right or not, but good job.
I don't know. Okay, with someone's that root, use sign language universal.
Serena,
No comment. No comment.
and
That's so
thank
funny.
you. And I see Laura, you're out there, awesome. And Danae, Nice to see you.
Hey, I think Laura's in the house.
Yes.
If I can, I don't see her in the stream. I was going to bring her on camera. Anyway,
Did you click on the link or she got the link?
she got the link.
Come on, Laura. Let's have a grand entrance. So good to see you.
I can put her in the picture, but I can't.
It's funny, Laura.
Watch. Wait. I got it. Watch. Wait for it. Wait for it. Boom! Hey, Laura Messner. How you doing?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. I want to hear you sing.
Oh boy. Well, I'm
I do want to say one thing. I do want to say one thing, Laura.
Yes.
I watch every Friday, and I want to say I always have my daughter watch with her, my 11-year-old granddaughter, because it's so inspirational. I cry all the time when I see you talk. I'm very enthusiastic. Is that the right word? But
do you really cry?
I do. When you have a stroke, your emotions go crazy,
Exactly.
and they call it like PBA is the acronym. So yeah, it's like when I cry at the sure. I probably won't say anything right now because I probably will cry. But you're very inspirational. So,
I met her by crying. They sang a song that was one of my mom's favorite songs, and I reached out to her and said, "Thanks, you have no idea what it meant to me." And we struck up a friendship. And if I hadn't had my stroke, I wouldn't have known her. I wouldn't have known Tom. I wouldn't have known Kayla. I'm just so blessed.
Yeah, we all are. It is amazing just how much you've inspired when it gets to my grandkids.
Look. Yay, love, Laura. You have a whole new family.
Thank you, Carla.
You're frozen, by the way.
There we are.
We're talking about caregivers, and we're talking about taking me time and trying to take care of yourself. So pontificate some Laura wisdom, please.
Paul, pontificate. Look at you.
I must say, I constantly see caregivers giving weights. It's a beautiful thing that they do. They're just giving them all of themselves to the people that they care for. But the only problem is they're not able to work on themselves, as you express. And that is where the pain comes from. Yes. And they find themselves more depressed and falling back. But that's the struggle part, because then they're not able to better take care of the people that they're working with. And energy is a real thing, okay?
Yeah.
Energy is real. You can feel off of people's energy all day long, regardless of how well they're good at covering it up.
Yeah.
So the fact of just what you're saying with taking time for them as a caretaker is so important, not only for the people that they're caring for, but also for themselves. Mm-hmm. And that's why I constantly put out, self-care and learning, if you haven't already, learning how to love yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's the first step to everything that you want to accomplish and do in life. If you don't have that self-love for yourself, it's going to be a long, stressful journey ahead. And having that understanding of, this is who I am, and I love who I am, not letting the world, as I was expressing before this last Friday, not letting the world dictate who you are or what you need to be.
Yes.
I love that song. Calder did too. Amazing. Amazing. When you sang that song from The Greatest Showman, so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. So honestly, personally, I recommend doing similar things like going to seminars or group therapies, things where you can really connect with people and see you're not the only one going through struggle.
Right.
Because when we, of course, everybody wants to be perfect in this world. And when we're by ourselves and we're just looking at social media or society in general, we compare, and then we think that we're so far from what's acceptable or seen as normal,
Right.
that we fall into this depression, and now we don't even want to go out and share who we are, what's going on for us, because we're fearing that we're going to be judged.
Pardon me for a little interruption. Cher, I love you too, baby. She is going
Oh,
through so much in her life. She's the ultimate positive person. She has so good. I love you, Cher. You know,
amen.
Laura and Gary, you know, we have a chance to spread a message that's so important. People need to reach out for help. Know so
Yes,
many people. I was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I needed any help. I had it
me
all
too.
figured out till I had my stroke, and I found myself 2 months in, depressed, angry, lonely, sad, overwhelmed, and thinking about things I shouldn't have talked about.
Yeah.
I reached out to someone that named Dr. S, because I can't say his last name, Dr. Sinitsky from John Hopkins. He lived in Tampa, St. Pete, and no medicine. He got me well. Learn to love myself
Yeah.
again, learn to
Amen.
regain my confidence and self esteem, learn to not deal with the pain, but rejoice
Yeah.
and reflect
Yes.
and remember the good things in my life.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
he got me well.
What you're thankful for, right? I mean,
Oh my God.
it's so true. When I had my stroke, same thing. 2 months after, I started going to stroke support groups. And what I did, sat in the back. I didn't want to.
Oh yeah.
I was embarrassed. I was more embarrassed
Oh,
for myself. But now I'm the one that wants to be in the charge, in front of the group to inspire other people. Tell them you're not alone, and you don't try not to feel so isolated. Because I know I've been through everything. Everything. I know. I feel like I'm a stroke educator as well. Sorry, Bill, and or Tom Broussard. He's the stroke educator, but anyway, that's
we
how I
can
feel.
join him in this venture, you know. Uh, Listen, I hate to do this, but who's the music coming from?
It's from me. Sorry, I'm in a
Oh,
coffee
I
shop.
love it. No, I want to have closing comments from.
But for me, first of all, I appreciate everybody that's here watching. Paul, I appreciate you. Laura, I appreciate you. And I watch every Friday, so thank you for doing that. And I just want to say it's easier said than done. Try not to feel isolated and love yourself. Really reach out to people. If there's some help you need, I'm an open book. So if you want to reach out to me for help or whatever, feel free to do that because I'm here for everybody. So, Paul, thank you so much. Laura, thank you. Nice meeting you. It was pretty awesome.
Amen.
So, thank you, everybody.
Okay, Laura, it's you.
Oh,
Closing
it's
comments.
Drum roll.
oh. um, and the biggest thing, and first of all, again, thank you, Paul, for bringing me on here, and thank you, Jerry, for sharing your words of wisdom on the subject with caregivers. It's really important, and I think that you expressed that very well. The biggest thing I think to take away from my perspective is just the consistency, because it's
Yeah.
easy to say that I love myself. It's easy to say it, right? But I remember when I was going through my depression state and everything, and when people would say, yeah, the key is just to love yourself. Well, I do love myself. I'm still living, therefore I
Yes.
haven't killed myself yet. But no. Um, and I had a really hard time understanding what self-love was. And but with the consistency in putting the foot forward to learn about what's going on in my head, to reach out to people, to really kind of fill myself with a different surroundings, different people, different mindsets, different tools, I was able to then, even though when I didn't believe at the time, I was able to overcome all my struggles kind of the new things that hit me.
Yes.
I was able to then start changing my belief system to now see things a different way. And I didn't even know that, but it's because I stayed consistent.
Yeah.
And through the consistency, I was able to change the way I saw things. So that's really the last little note I wanted to put in there.
Well,
Even if you don't feel like
thank
moving
you very
forward,
much.
stay
Yeah.
consistent.
Absolutely.
Until next week, be blessed. Oh, by the way, you have to, Jerry has a new theme song.
I do.
Ooh.
You ready?
Go for it.
Let's talk stroke again like we did last summer. Let's talk stroke again like we did last week. You remember when things are really humming.
Yeah.
Let's talk stroke again.
And you know what?
Yay!
My
That's
show
it.
is
Until
the show is Strive for Greatness. Let's talk stroke.
I know, and
I know
great
you.
show, by the way. And may the peace be with you.
And
Because
also
I
with
found
you.
out
Yeah.
you can't take it for granted. Have a level 10 day
Everyone.
to say this all together. You ready?
Let's hear it.
Hope
Hope
is
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 on
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 the
the
way.
way.
Say goodbye. Till
Goodbye,
next
everybody.
time.
That's
Let me stop. Ah.